Richard Truitt, he's from the Marine Detachment here in Ridgefield, and he's going to talk. He's a Korean veteran, and he's going to talk about how what the flag means to him and how he appreciated serving our country in Korea.
Welcome again to the Ridgefield celebration of a great American holiday. Across our land today, people are speaking from the front steps of buildings like this and from bandstands about what the flag means to them. And I'm proud to be part of that tradition. 60 years ago this month, I was sitting on a small, narrow-gauge railroad car gradually making its way north out of Walmido, some of you have been there, on the western coast of Korea, up the peninsula toward the wall. Just that morning, I left my transport ship by climbing down a rope net into a landing craft that delivered me to shore. In a sense, I was recreating a scene from a John Wayne movie about World War II. We wore those dark green helmets and ponchos that seem so ancient now, and field packs that looked too heavy for one man to carry. I was a second lieutenant in the Marine Corps, one of those guys about whom it was said that once we got into combat, we had 28 seconds to live. I managed to get signed up and into officer school before that piece of news reached my mother. I'd spent much of my life on a farm in Hobart, Indiana. This was a town something like Ridgefield in the sense that serious patriotism bubbled over whenever it had a chance. Old Glory was everywhere. On Memorial Day and on Independence Day, flags flew from porches and on poles for the entire length of Main Street. But now back on the train, I was removed from everything familiar. I was headed for an infantry platoon, dug in near the Imchian River. Also in the train were two groups of Marines headed to other assignments, but I didn't know them. I looked out at an endless stream of rice paddies being tended by farmers with big hoes and big hats. Over there was an ox pulling a plow, and over here a farm truck grinding along a dirt road that followed the tracks. My reflection in the window showed a guy wearing brown camouflage dungarees. Everything seemed to be brown. Time dragged along, but the train finally pulled into Monsanto, the railhead in the farthest north that it could go. I needed to make the short walk to a Marine Corps supply detachment where I would stay overnight. The next morning, a jeep would take me to the 3rd Battalion of the 7th Marine Regiment, somewhere in the hills, still farther north. I made my way along narrow streets through the small town of Monsanto. I passed close to a characteristic brown slab Korean house with its pastel blue front door and its roof fashioned from bundles of grass. 2 windows were set on each side of the door. And showing clearly in one window was, look at that, an American flag draped from gold sticks sitting on the window's ledge. The flag, here in Monsanto, so removed from my own world, was my country's stars and stripes, standing proudly in its reds, whites, and blues. It cleared away my haunting sense of isolation and jerked me back to being me again. An upbeat young guy from the States there to do a job. Who was inside the hut and why had they displayed the flag, I wondered, but I didn't go in. Had I done so, I might have discovered that the family wanted to honor American troops who were fighting for their freedom. Perhaps the daughter had married a Marine and moved to California. Maybe the woman had fallen for Van Johnson. Or the guy was a Red Sox fan. I didn't know, but what I do know, however, is that the vision of Old Glory jumped out at me, bright and alive in its heartwarming colors. It took me back to Hobart, Indiana, and the patriotic values that I had learned there. It quickened my step and jolted me with renewed sense of purpose. Perhaps it wasn't June 14, I don't actually remember, but it was Flag Day for me. Anyway, right there in that drab, dusty Korean street where I was on my way to join thousands of other American troops fighting for freedom and for that inspiring banner that we celebrate today. Thank you.
Thank you, Richard. That's very, very inspirational. The flag will inspire everything. Can I ask Patty to come back and join us? Good.